You've always heard, bend your knees, keep your back straight. Well, sometimes that's not the best thing for your back. Hi, this is Dr. Hobbs, restoring hope and health for lifetime family wellness. Well, actually, bending your knees is often good, but a straight back never is the best thing for your back. Your low back should always have a nice curve in it. We call this a lordosis, and it's designed to help you distribute forces evenly throughout your back. The lift technique will depend on a few simple factors to keep in mind. So number one, how frequently you're lifting throughout the day. If it's once or twice or even 5 or 6 times an hour, that puts you still in the infrequent category. Number two, how heavy you're lifting. That will depend on the person to some degree. Number three, how awkwardly you're lifting. Awkward really boils down to how unbalanced you are from the natural standing posture that your lift will be. If it will be reaching or leaning to the front, side, or back, then it's awkward. Number four, how conditioned are you to lifting? And number five is how early are you lifting? Now that's a surprise for most of you. Early, for all practical purposes, is within 1 hour of waking. Now, being of the science mind that I am, I could give you a neat graph and a formula for when you should lift how and what, but let's keep it practical and simple, and I'll also demonstrate some of these. So the guidelines apply to both home and work activities. So let's start with frequency. If you're lifting very frequently and lightly, like picking up pecans off the ground, then this peculiar fancy technique is best. Because your back only has a limited number of bends before it starts delaminating like an onion that you roll forcefully back and forth on the counter. So it seems that frequency is one thing you cannot condition yourself for. Conditioning takes stress, then rest. And frequency, day after day, does not allow for rest. This is the frequent, light, hip-only bend lift I'll show you. So your leg goes back as a counterweight as you lean forward to reach down and lift something that's very light. Okay, that's safe for your back to do frequently as opposed to this. So you can do this frequently. All right, so your hips don't have discs that delaminate with frequent bending. Now for other types of lifts, ideal or awkward lifts, we use the other lift technique until we reach a point where we need to get help with a team lift or assisted equipment like a dolly or something bigger. So the technique to common lifting, as when you lift a bucket or two of rocks, is to keep the load close to your center of gravity so that you're not adding more force than necessary. So keep it close, but if you can't, let's say, give the example where you have to reach over here. So you still want to have that nice curve in your back, and then you reach and you lift, right? So that's pretty awkward and pretty bad technique. It's a decent technique for a bad situation. So ideally, you keep it close to you, you reach in, you have that curve in your back, bend your knees and your hips, and you lift up, keep it close to you as you carry, same thing as you go back down. Okay, now let me give you a little science to reinforce this concept. So, if you bend forward with a nice curve in your back, this puts 200 pounds of shear force on my back, as opposed to compressive force, shear force, okay? Shear force is the more damaging to the lower back disc. But if I lose that curve in my back, and I'm bending this way, that puts a dramatic 1,900 newtons of shear force on my back. Wow. So that's pretty dramatic. Now, of course, there's the same amount of force on my back, but not distributed the same. It's the shear force that's the problem. So you want to keep that curve in your back. And of course, you don't bend or reach into pain. This is mostly an issue where you're trying to recover from a recent or even a chronic injury. That's part of criteria number 4. How conditioned are you to lifting? And if you're damaged and you hurt when lifting, you're stalling or stopping your healing process. So be smart so you can keep bending and lifting well for years to come. So that's it for today. If you're a patient of mine already, let me know if you need more personal application of how to use this information in your daily routine so you get the quickest, most complete, and longest lasting recovery. If you're not, we'd love to help you out. Give us a call or visit our website for more information or make an appointment. Have a great day and live smart.